it's Angel Vane, and this is episode 100 of my author's diary. I cannot believe that I've been doing these videos for 100 times. That is like, what? And I thought about doing a special video where I just showed you every time I did my intro for the past 100 times, just so you could just see it back to 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 back. And then I was like, yeah, that's going to be a lot of work. I won't do it. So I'm just going to do a regular weekly update for you guys. But first, let me tell you who I am. I am Angel Vane. I'm an author of crime thrillers for women. And every week I take you through the ups and downs that I go through as I try to write and publish new books. So don't forget to subscribe or follow me if you haven't done so already. So quick writing update for everybody. I have finished my own self-developmental editing of The Christmas Hero, and I am very, very happy to say that from my perspective, it was a clean, quick kind of editing, right? I kind of got behind this week because of some unexpected difficulties, but then when I picked it back up on Thursday, I literally cranked through the full book, the full 60,000 word book, doing all the edits that were necessary over 3 days. So I didn't lose track. I submitted it to my editor yesterday, and now it's the waiting game. And I will kick over into the next thing on my novel writing plan, which is what I'm talking about this week. So originally I created my novel writing plan in my bullet journal because I love my bullet journal. But what I am finding is that I need to operate in two different spaces. There is the space where I need to handwrite because that actually triggers certain aspects of me being productive. And then there are other aspects of the things I do that needs to be electronically. And what I found is that the bullet journal wasn't working for my novel writing plan. So let me take you through my bullet journal pages and kind of explain the things that I found out 5 months later of why, okay, maybe putting my novel writing plan in my bullet journal is not the best for me at this point. So here is my the first kind of spread of my novel writing plan in my bullet journal. I have one page that really outlines my projected timelines and all of the tasks that I normally do to write a book. And really nothing wrong with that page. Love that page. It's still pretty accurate. I have some little notes here of some potential changes, but for the most part, that projected timeline still works for me to kind of plot out and be able to gauge when I should be complete with a manuscript. And what I found too, over finishing off The Unexpected Hero and writing The Christmas Hero, is that those weeks actually bake in contingency time. I found that I was able to still meet most of my deadlines that I had set based off of this because there is contingency built into the weeks that I put there. And so that made me feel a lot better and like, okay, yeah, I can trust that. Because you don't want to have no projections that you can't trust, right? So then when I go to the next page, the first thing I did was that little barn door type page where I have my book plan, and those were the books that I planned to write that I thought I was going to be writing in late December of 2020. I kind of wrote them down. I had the little codes there, and after Q1 I already knew there's going to be some major changes. And the issue here is that there's really no elegant way for me to make updates to that little strip there that kind of describes each one of those 5 books that I thought I was going to be writing. I would literally have to like create another little barn door and be like, old plan, new plan, and it's going to make my bullet journal bulky and it might not close good. And it's just like, it's going to be too messy. And so, yeah, not too keen on doing that. Then once you open up that little barn door, you get to this page here, which is my weekly plan. Now this is it. This is the structure. This is the thing that I check all the time to make sure that I know exactly what I should be doing each week of the year. And as you can see, once I got to about week 5, I already started changing stuff. Stuff had to be crossed out, other stuff. And then I got to this part and it's like it's a ton of stuff being crossed out and changed. And yeah, now I know that like I started trying to write in some more changes that were needed, and I was like, this is gonna get so messy. Like, and the thing that I know that it's changing to right now, 3 months later, I might have more changes and more changes. And this format and this way of handwriting it over and crossing out and stuff, that's just going to get too messy for me. I think it's going to get too confusing, and it's not really being functional like I need it to be functional. Then the next thing I had was kind of each book had its own page where I kind of wrote out, here's the plan, here was the original deadline, here's the goal weeks, and what was my actual. Now, I love these spreads. This works perfectly. I like having this one page that I can go to and see at a high level, how close did I come to meeting my goals? Where did it seem like I had some differences so that I could use that to build out a better, more precise projected timeline? These pages work. I have notes down there. I have the challenges down there. The only issue that I have is that because I'm changing the books that I'm going to be writing in 2021, I didn't make extra blank pages like this to accommodate those changes. Yeah, not too happy. So I can add these pages to my bullet journal, but they'll be in a whole different section, in some other monthly section or something. And it just, to my mind, I'm like, that doesn't work for me. So I think, when I do this, I am going to do that. I'm going to add it to my bullet journal because I do like having this in the bullet journal because it's the one quick glance look, right? It's not going to be in the area of the bullet journal that I would like, but I know when I do next year's bullet journal, I'm going to have to make some blank pages to accommodate future potential changes or new book ideas or things that may pop up so that I have those pages in the front of my bullet journal and can actually update it as I go along. So that's going to be a change that I'll make in the future, but right now it's just going to be kind of all out of sync, which does not sit well with my logical brain, but matters all that. Then this is what's supposed to be coming up next. After I finish the Christmas Hero, then I've already changed the plan. I'm actually not jumping into the sweet romances yet. There's some additional things that I want to do to kind of tie off and end up the HIP series, which is my Hero in Paradise series with Julian and Mina. And so it's outdated, which means all of these deadline dates here, all of those need to be changed. And you can see that I already have some whiteout in some of these places already. It's like, how many times can I white out on these pages before it just starts to look like janky, right? So that's another struggle there. I think, again, I do like this page, but I want to probably hold off on filling in the deadlines until I'm absolutely about to start working on that particular book. So the deadlines would still be in this here, but I wouldn't fill out these pages with the actual deadlines until I was set that yes, I'm about to start and these are the real deadlines. I should have just left these pages blank, just kept it in the goal dates, but left the deadline blank, left the actual blank, so that when I knew truly what the deadline was, I could write that in and then go from there and avoid all this whiting out that I've been doing. So now that brings me to, well, what are you gonna do differently? You don't like the bullet journal having your novel writing plan, the real specific detailed parts of your novel writing plan. So what exactly are you moving to? I am moving to Notion. I love Notion. I feel like when I found bullet journaling, I just fell in love with bullet journaling. And now I found Notion and I've fallen in love with Notion. It is so functional. It fits my brain. It fits the way that I think. And it doesn't replace bullet journaling. For me, I determine, is this better in my bullet journal or is this better in Notion? And then I use both. So I use them both at the same time and it is working so well for me. So now I'm going to pull up my Notion so that you can see how I'm using that to do my novel writing plan. Okay, so here is my new novel writing plan. It's in Notion. The thing that I love is that you can put a cover on all your pages. So I put my logo, which I love my logo, the novel writing plan. I have the title here. You can put a little icon, and so I am writing. And so I put like a little handwriting like that, so it's kind of like, oh, it's writing. So what I did was I created what Notion calls or databases. And so you create the databases and then you can make kind of like a landing page that organizes all of your underlying databases in a framework so that it's an easy, user-friendly way to digest that information. So the first thing I did was I created a database for my projected timelines for my novel writing process. This is basically an exact copy of the projected timelines that I have in my bullet journal. The weeks and everything are all the same. The different tasks are the same. And this is just so that I can know at a glance, 90,000 word novel, 22 weeks. 60,000 word novel, 16 weeks. 30,000 word novel, 12 weeks. Now, this year I've really determined that I want to start moving towards writing books around the 60,000 word mark, or a little over 60,000 word, and not the 90,000 word behemoths. Why? They're just quicker to get through, and I do believe that I can still pack the same punch and give a good story without it being 90,000 words. I have received some reviews where people say, well, the books felt a little long. Even though I felt like I just couldn't tell the story any quicker. But if I start plotting based off of the number of chapters that will equate to a 60,000 word book for me, if I start plotting at that level, then I won't have all the extra stuff in it. So that's kind of my thought right now. But again, the story will dictate how long it truly needs to be. But I'm starting off to plot and plan books to be at the 60,000 word mark now, instead of plotting and planning them to be at the 90,000 word mark. So that's in there just as kind of the overview. Hey, here's your projection. Then I flow into the actual novel writing plan. So this table I went and I put and transferred everything that was in my novel writing plan in my bullet journal onto Notion. This section of my landing page has been filtered only to show me the things that have a planned week deadline within the next month. But I have basically built this off all the way going through the end of 2022. Some of the things that I'm changing right now for my writing plan is I really knew in my heart of hearts that I needed a new reader magnet free story to try to get people interested in reading the Hero in Paradise series. Right now I have a book called The Hidden Threat. It takes you through Ella, a sapphire who comes to the island, and what she kind of engages in 5 years before the Hero in Paradise book starts. The problem with that being kind of the way I try to lure and interest people is that she's the victim in the book. So if people really, really like Ella, they move on to the accidental hero and she ends up getting killed. So then I'm like hoping that they like Julian and Mina enough to carry them through. But what if they don't? What if they read that book and they read about Ella and Bojan, and then they get to the accidental hero and they're like, where's Ella? She dead. Where's Bojan? He's not even in this book. Bojan doesn't pop up into the series again until the third book, The Fallen Hero. So that's kind of not the best way to get people interested in reading a 4-book series about Julian and Mina. So I have finally found a way to rectify that. I have a brand new idea for a story that I can use to lead into that really give people some insight into Julian and Mina, and hopefully make them like them enough to want to read their full story in the Hero in Paradise series. So that's exactly what I'm going to be writing next after the Christmas Hero, which I'm already done with the Christmas Hero, so I guess I better start writing that. But basically, this novel writing plan section, this tells you what I have upcoming each week for the next month. And then I have the status, and I love Notion because you can put all these different little icons. And so completed, I put like a trophy to show, yes, I did that. So you can see I completed these items. It's with the editor being reviewed. The Christmas Hero is, so that's in progress, on track. I also have a status that's in progress, at risk, if I think that it's going to result potentially in me having to change the planned weeks of when I write certain things or when I work on certain things. The next thing that I have up on the docket would be the bonus story for people who actually make it through the HIP series. I want to give them the ultimate happily ever after, which is the wedding. There will be no drama at the wedding. There will be no killing. There will be no danger. There will be no threats. This will be a straight romantic, just wedding scene. People getting ready for the wedding and the wedding happening. Probably only about 3,000 to 5,000 words. Not anything that's really long. I should be able to crank that out this week. Then I get into all of the kind of the next phases of the Christmas Hero. And then you can see right down here, I start plotting and outlining the new reader magnet the new free story that I'll be giving out to try to entice people and interest them into reading the Hero in Paradise series. That'll start plotting at the end of May. And so really I've just transferred all of that stuff that was in my bullet journal into Notion. I went task by task, so you can see all these different tasks here. They match up to the tasks that are right here in my projected timeline. And then I went book by projected book. Now if I have an update to make, I can make the change here electronically. It goes a lot quicker, a lot faster. And if I don't want to lose sight of my original plan, all I have to do is just change this to original planned week and drop in a current planned week. And that way I can follow the progression of here's what you planned, here's what it got changed to, and I can keep track of every time I made a change. Then I also still have the actual dates that I can put in here. So like for the Christmas Hero, I put in the date that I sent it to the editor, which was yesterday, May 8th. And then once it's complete, I can track how long did that take. I'm hoping that it'll get done by the 16th. It might get done earlier, it might get done later. This will be a way that I can go back and gauge, here's what you planned, here's what actually occurred. Do you need to make some modifications to your projected timelines up here? So I'm loving this. Then the thing that I love most about Notion is the different views that you can use to see all the information that you need to help you stay on track. So I have this table view. This basically shows me what's coming up in the next month. But then I can also look at it in a calendar view and actually see everything on the calendar, see it week by week. And so I'm really loving having the calendar view. I'm loving having the table view and the projected timelines up here, and the ease in which it will allow me to make modifications and updates and make changes as I'm revising and modifying and changing the things that I know I want to write for the current year and into next year. So Notion is my new friend. If you have not checked it out, I'm doing tons of stuff in Notion right now. I have another just kind of my overall comprehensive here's what you need to get done list. I am building that out in Notion. It is working so seamlessly. I'm so excited about it, and I really, really love it. And I think it's one of the most productive and effective tools for if you're a person like me who I get pennies, I get, enjoyment, I get kind of that energy. Like, where do you get your energy from? I get energy from creating a plan of things that I have to do and then checking that stuff off the to-do list, like actually accomplishing it and being able to visually see that it's checked off the to-do list. So like here with the novel writing plan, me seeing this trophy and complete it, like that gives me energy. I'm like, yes, I did that. What's next? Right? And so if you're also kind of motivated by that same type of setting a goal, meeting the goal, that's what motivates you. You kind of have that gives you energy. Then bullet journaling and Notion, I think, would be two great tools for you to use. So that's it for this week. If you want to continue to keep up with me and all the ups and downs that I go through as I try to write and publish new books, click the subscribe button and don't forget to click that little silver bell so you won't miss when I'm doing a video, and I will see you next time.